action-packed weekend under the arch in St. Louis, most of it going the Cardinals' way. We'll see if the Nats can salvage a getaway day game here. They'll have to do it against a very good pitcher. Nats Cards, Game 3 of the weekend series. Nationals lineup, Southwest.com, 5th in the league in average, 6th in runs, 8th in homers, and Pete Orr has been spectacular. 2 games, 5 out of 7. And he has just been a spark plug to the Nats after hitting .245 in 120 games at Syracuse. Adam Wainwright takes the mound for St. Louis. It'll be his 28th start, and Ray Knight, he is so consistent and so very good this year, he could win the Cy Young.
Well, there's no doubt, Bob, he is throwing that curveball exceptionally well. Over the last 2 years, he's put together, prior to this year, he's won 25 and just lost 15. Last year, he was 11-3 with a 3.20, and he's become one of the most prominent pitchers in the league in just 3 years. Spent 6 years in Atlanta Brave organization, #1 draft choice there, and they actually traded him over here in 2003 for J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing deal. They got Ray King and Jason Marquis in that deal. If he wins the Cy Young, he'll be the 3rd one on the staff in the PNC scouting report.
Yes, sir. Cy Young Award candidate, 15-7, 2.50, 187 innings pitched amongst the league leaders, 157 strikeouts, his 4th. Ironman, 6 innings plus, 25 consecutive starts. That's quite an accomplishment there, and has gone at least 8 innings 5 times, 7 innings 12 times. Blow out the candles. Happy birthday. 28 years old today, from Georgia, lives in St. Simons.
One of the beautiful places in our country. First pitch of the ball game right underway at 2:15 Eastern. Colby Rasmus puts it away. Cloudy skies, little breeze blowing in, not a whole lot of wind, and it's an amazing 70 degrees here. I told somebody today, this isn't the town I grew up in with weather like this in August. And here's Christian Guzman, who will hit in front of Zimmerman. Guzman in the series, 2 for 5 with a run scored. Guys coming in from the bullpen, so a little pause here. Christian's on a 7-game hitting streak, 9 for his last 30. Home plate umpire is Scott Berry today. The crew chief Tom Hallion has first. St. Louis resident Ron Kulpa at second, and Brian O'Nora has third. And a change up at the knees to Guzman. Hitting .304 overall, .301 from the left side. So not really having one of those really crazy hitting streaks like he's capable of. Hits the ball sharply, getting behind it, Skip Schumacher, 2 outs. St. Louis does not look like the 9th best defensive team in the league this weekend. They look like they should be up in the top 3. They're very steady. Rick Ankiel gets a start today in right field. First time he's played in the series. But again, just like yesterday, they don't have anybody on the diamond who's made double-figure errors. Khalil Green at third base. They scratched Mark DeRosa about an hour and a half ago because of a sore wrist, and Green will get the call over there. He played quite a bit there early in the season before Mark DeRosa came to St. Louis.
Bob, I was on Mike Shannon's radio show, the longtime announcer for the Cardinals, last night, and he was telling me that this defense, ever since mid-June, has been as good as any defense in all of baseball, that they just have not made errors, that Ryan is a gold glove type shortstop. Schumacher's adjusted to his play at second base, and the outfield play has been outstanding.
Here's another Ryan who's doing pretty well. Zimmerman, 2 walks, 1 for 6, but 2 RBIs in the series. And a big breaking ball that he pulls off of. Wainwright faced the Nationals on a rainy night on Thursday, July 23rd, and Ryan Zimmerman went 0 for 3 in that game. It was shortened to 6 innings by rain.
Northrop Grumman, look at the break on that ball. You're talking about an 18-inch minimal downward break. It looks as if it's like 36 inches, but he's going to throw that pitch probably a couple of times. If you can get him to 4 or 5 pitches per at bat, you're going to see the curveball. The problem is he throws it so effectively that if you look for it, you have a tendency to swing for it, as Ryan did that prior pitch.
2-2 to Zimmerman. Big breaking ball. He IDs it well. That was an interesting night at our ballpark. The game didn't finish till 11:40. There were 2 different rain delays, and after the first rain delay of 1 hour and 16 minutes, Adam Wainwright came back out and pitched. And he was the only pitcher St. Louis used in all 6 innings of that game. At the time, it was his 11th victory of the year. 3-2 to Ryan with Adam Dunn next. Fastball. He chops it into the ground. Brendan Ryan wide of the bag. Pujols stays on there, and the Nationals go in order in the top of the first. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by PNC Bank. PNC leading the way. I've had people ask me, what's that building in St. Louis? They call it the old courthouse here. And that is where the famous Dred Scott slavery trial was held back in the 1800s. That was one of the key components of the Civil War. Historical importance in this town. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. And let's see how Garrett Mock can do today. After winning 3 of his last 4, first pitch strike to the second baseman, Scott Schumacher.
I think an interesting note on Garrett, Bobby, he came in, Randy Knorr and McCaddy were out in the bullpen prior to the game waiting for Mock to get out there to warm up. He did not come out there, and Randy Knorr had to run back in here, and then he took him out.
Do you think the 1:15 start had something to do with that?
I'm not sure. All I know is he comes running in here with 1 out in the top of the 9th, so he arrived a little late. Let's see how that affected him, and I'm not sure why he got out there late, but generally the pitching coach and the bullpen coach will go out together, and the pitcher will come on out a couple minutes later. Knorr came back in, so I'm not sure why he was late getting out there.
And Skip Schumacher fouls one back to the screen. Count stays 2-2. Here's another guy who's converting positions. He's made a good transition from the outfield to second base, hitting .297. 3 for 5 in the ball game yesterday, and a heartbreaking ball strikes him out.
Hey, that is nasty. That's what you're talking about, burying that ball down and in.
And here's the St. Louis lineup, 8th in the league in average, 9th in runs, 6th in homers. And Matt Holliday, well, every day's a holiday for him right now, the way he's going. As a Cardinal in 33 games, he's hitting .376, 32 RBIs in 33 games. And along with his numbers from Oakland, 19 homers, 86 RBIs. Next up, the home run hitter from last night, Colby Rasmus, the rookie, hitting .252.
Well, if Garrett Mock is able to repeat that breaking ball that he threw there to Schumacher and throw it consistently in that spot to left-handers and have his changeup today, you're going to be very difficult. That's an unhittable breaking ball. Steve McCaddy.
That breaking ball reminded me of another guy in this ballpark, because I've been told by a couple of different players that nobody throws a hard breaking ball into a left-hander better than Chris Carpenter does.
Yeah, your partner Ricky Horton told me that same thing, that Carpenter is throwing the ball so effectively inside, and a lot of times it's that hammering breaking ball.
Rasmus gets it in the air to right, but Elijah Dukes is there. Couple of quick outs here with Albert Pujols coming up. PNC scouting report on Garrett Mock.
Well, on the road, Garrett is 2-0 with a 4.35 in 4 starts. He's not satisfied. Here's a guy that wants to go deeper in the game. He's not satisfied with his last 4 outings, even though he's 2-0. Strikeouts galore. 20 strikeouts in the last 16 2/3 innings. That's his last 3 starts. That's an average of 10.7 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's pretty nifty.
Pujols in this series, 3 for 7, couple of walks, a homer, 2 RBIs. 5th in the league at .319, first in on base average and homers. Top 3 in RBIs behind Prince Fielder and Ryan Howard.
it appears early that he has great stuff. The fastball down sizzling at 93. Probably the best curveball that I've seen all year. That reminded me of Steve Carlton's slider from the other side. There's a changeup, first time he's thrown that all day, and he does throw that changeup because it fades away from left-handers. Against the Rockies, he struck out 5 of the 7. They were left-handed hitters. Good spot. Drop that hook on him right now.
2-2 to Pujols.
Change up.
Yeah, that was a changeup.
I've felt with Garrett in some of his starts this year that he doesn't know where to go once he gets 0-2. Even though he does strike out people, he works himself to that 3-2 count often.
And a breaking ball. Albert Pujols pulled off it a little bit, and Ryan Zimmerman is under it. Each pitcher with a 1-2-3 first inning on a cool day in St. Louis. After one scoreless inning, game notes for you here in St. Louis, and according to this, if Adam plays long enough, he'll be the 4th all-time home run hitter in the history of baseball. Look at that. 4th all-time in his first 9 seasons. Pete Orr, 8th time in that, had 4 hits in a game, and St. Louis starters unbelievable here at home, under 3 their ERA last 9 times out. Adam Dunn takes a strike. 2 for 8 with a solo homer last night.
You know, this is a special hitter that you're looking at there. You know, when you're looking for power, and that's what scouts look for, is the ability to hit the ball a long way. Second to speed, I think, because they feel like if you can run and throw that you can become a player. But Adam is blessed with a God-given talent. Nobody, and I used to see he and Ken Griffey have home run hitting contests in spring training, and there was a big batting cage in right field down there in Sarasota. There was a good 40 feet behind the right field fence, which was 335, and they would get into home run hitting contests, and it didn't count unless you hit it over the building. And this kid just did it time after time, and they had Tim Foley pitching, and he had the best batting practice stuff anybody I've ever been around.
Adam Dunn pulling that ball. That's the shortstop over there, Brendan Ryan, to cut it off.
So I put 6-3 instead of 4-3, even though it's over there on that side.
Yeah. And then what I do is I just put a little arrow to the right side of the infield so I remember where he was playing.
Well, that's a sinking fastball that he ran away from Adam. Adam can hit that pitch as long as it's firm and fast away. When they start running the ball away from him, a lot like Mock does the left-handers, he has a tendency to leak, and that's really the only pitch that he pulls off of. He stays on the ball and stays square most of the time.
Here's Josh Willingham. Josh has his family up here for the weekend. Lots of Alabamans here, and they haven't seen him get a hit yet. He has walked a couple of times, 0 for 6. And because of the walks, his on-base average hangs in there at .399. A fastball in there from Wainwright.
Well, there's a lot of quality people in this ball club, but you're looking at one of the finest men that I have met, battling through the adversity of death of his brother. Met his parents for the first time this morning. That was a joy, and you see where he gets that calm demeanor, that ability to concentrate. But man, he is a guy that comes to the ballpark, keeps his mouth shut, but yet he's not afraid to, stand up and say what he believes, as he did early in the year with Manny. But he never challenged Manny. He just said, hey, I want to play. I've never not played. And he bided his time and abode his time, and then he was able to take that job away from Austin Kearns.
And his father, David, longtime coach. David lost his father and then his son in a matter of weeks. It was really a bad spring. Tough times. Very close family. And Josh isn't going to like that call from Scott Berry. That ball looked like it was fading well off the inside of the plate, and the umpire called him out.
It did. I mean, Molina catches this ball a little funny. Watch how he sets up inside and he turns his glove inside out. Most times you turn the glove and rotate it clockwise to try to get that pitch. He turned it funny, and it did look like that ball was inside, actually.
And then Wainwright comes way inside on Elijah Dukes and hits him. I guess Wainwright figured the umpire gave me a strike. I'm going to try to go right back in there. In there way too far.
I guess Elijah's never heard of that deal. Don't rub it. He starts rubbing this thing immediately. That does hurt right in there. That used to be much more a part of the game when you, especially in the first inning or two, pitcher establishing inside, knowing that Elijah's so quick on the inside part of the plate. If he can get that established, then that big breaking ball becomes that much more effective.
Pete Orr. Can he keep it up? The guy's been spectacular.
Now, Ricky Horton told me that Chris Carpenter threw inside better than anybody in the league. And if there'd be one thing that I would notice different in Wainwright, it would be that he doesn't throw the ball inside that much. And there's 2 pitches in a row he buries inside.
Well, I think that strike 3 call to Willingham may have been a light go on that, hey, I might be able to get some strikes today in a place where I usually don't throw the ball.
Well, the addition to John Smoltz also, because Smoltzy, in his heyday when he threw that thing 96, 97, invariably to a right-handed guy that pulled the ball, he was going to bust him inside and give him a pitch that appeared to be a fastball, a strike, but throw it on the inner third of that plate up around chest high.
And here's another thing, Ray. When Wainwright was a minor leaguer with the Braves, John Smoltz really took him under his wing. He tutored him. He helped him.
Point, Bob.
Because I think Smoltz saw some of himself in Adam Wainwright. Fierce competitor, hard thrower, a lot of stuff. And they're now, of course, back on the same ball club together. Kind of unusual how that went around and they ended up here. Pete Orr on a one-hopper to Schumacher. The Nats going to hit batter, but that's been the extent of the offense. 6 up, 7 up, and 6 down, retired. No score, bottom of the second, neither team with a base hit. Holiday and Keel and Green for St. Louis in the bottom of the second. And the Nationals with Josh Bard out there. And that's the only change from last night's defense. Nationals still last in the league defensively. They have played better in recent weeks, but last night's boot at shortstop was fatal. And Holiday steps in 2 for 6 with a 3-run homer in this series. And he went deep for St. Louis' first 3 runs, 3rd inning last night. He knew he got it.
He did. He's a special hitter, too. Certainly Pujols overshadows him here, but look at those numbers, and I mean, that's not.
And that's with this team.
Yeah.
That's only 33 games worth of numbers right there.
We spoke last night about the comparison between he and Pujols. It's very close. Now, he was hitting in Colorado. We put up some huge numbers, but Albert has 43 doubles averaged a year over his 8 years. This man has 41. Albert 40 homers a year, and this man 34.
And out to right field, that ball got him near the trademark, and Elijah Dukes is under it. They've added at least 4 very key players on this ball club. Lugo, Holiday, Smoltz, and that doesn't even count the earlier acquisition of Mark DeRosa. Look at that. Some guys, Ray, they go to a certain team and they become even better than they were, and Lugo would fall into that category.
Yeah, Lugo's always been a good player. He's never been a guy that sustained a batting average for a long time. He played a lot of shortstop. But, hey, when you come to a ball club that wins, you know, and the expectation is to win, and there's a fire lit underneath you.
Yeah, Atlanta was like that. When guys would go there, they'd become better, it seemed. DeRosa and Smoltz played together there. So when John Smoltz came to this ball club with DeRosa here and with Wainwright here, there was some symmetry that sort of went to work for St. Louis. 2 balls and a strike to Rick Ankiel, who is slumping. He's hard. At times he can be an all-or-nothing hitter. He's 0 for his last 11 and batting only .230. He hit 25 home runs 2 years ago.
He's been an amazing story, though. An amazing story. A guy that threw the ball 95 and couldn't find the plate. Contemplating contemplated quitting baseball and went to the minor leagues and found himself back.
Mock throws a 3-2 changeup and walks him. That'll bring up Khalil Green, starting because DeRosa was scratched at about 11 o'clock this morning. Green has one swing in this series. It was a pinch home run, the first of his career in that role, that tied the game Friday night. And that was off John Lennon. Then Pujols hit the dramatic homer off Jason Bergman in the ninth.
Khalil injured this year, but also something that is beginning to show on the major league level that we never heard of is that anxiety problem.
Did you ever have that problem on a night Nolan Ryan was pitching against you?
Not hardly. I had something called butterflies, you know, that I had every night. But,
yeah. Not to make light of it, but
no.
I mean, where did this come from?
No, Votto was off for a while with that. I'm not certain. I'm not certain. I mean, there's certainly times during the course of your career when you don't feel comfortable because things aren't going right and you feel the weight of the world, but that's just feelings that are normal. You know, you have those feelings.
Mock with a big-time breaking ball. Hard to swing and hard to catch for Josh Bard as well.
Well, Khalil has been a good shortstop. He's been a power-type shortstop, but he cannot hit a breaking ball. And the other night, John threw him the fastball 3-1 and just went totally against the scouting report. You throw him changeup and breaking balls, he has a very, very tough time making contact. Struck out over 100 times a year as a shortstop. Oh, gosh, looked like he turned his ankle.
And Keo went back in funny, almost fell off the bag.
But Khalil, 243 lifetime hitter. And look at this as he gets back.
He missed it.
He missed the bag.
His foot slid right by it. He had to grab it with his hand. I guess when you're 0 for 11, you haven't been out there very much. He was running on that pitch that Green fouled off.
Tony sees him almost turn his ankle and says, what the heck, I got to find out if this kid's all right.
Either that or LaRusse is thinking, okay, the other team thinks he's not running.
Oh, that's what he was thinking.
I'm sending him.
Yeah.
He is unorthodox, to say the least. One and two to Green. Runner holding, swinging a tapper on a high breaking ball.
Oh, all he's got to do is throw him any kind of decent breaking ball here, and don't throw him anything different than the breaking ball. Even with that hanger there, his whole left side's flying out. He's not played a lot. The easiest pitch to hit is a fastball when you haven't played a lot because you're only thinking one thing. You get it started and get the bat barrel out front. Just hook him right here and set him down.
There's another one. Hook him, sets him down.
No question about it.
Second K, second out here in the bottom of the second. And it'll be up to Yadier Molina. Northrop Grumman has our pitch track today.
And this is a good one. Look at the break on that curveball. And to be effective with 2 strikes and to strike people out, start it just at the top, at the bottom of the strike zone, and then let it go straight down on the plate, and hitters just have a tough time laying off.
Northrop Grumman, the information systems powerhouse. Molina 0 for 3 Friday night. Nat stole 1 base on him. He threw another runner out. He's 0 for his last 9, hitting .285. Mock starts him with a letter high fastball.
Throwing the ball well. He's throwing the ball well, going right through the middle of the strike zone.
And a little tapper out to short for Guzman. Over to Pete Orr. No problem. Garrett Mock, first 2 innings. It'll be Bard, the switch hitting catcher. 5 hits his last 5 games, and then Mock and Harris to follow in the 3rd. Cloudy day, cool temperatures, and no score into the 3rd here in St. Louis. Get your seats for 2010. You can do it right now, placing a deposit on season tickets. 202-675-NATS, nationals.com/2010. Guaranteed seatings, lots of savings on ticket prices, discounts on merchandise, exclusive events like our picnic last week, and a whole lot more as you become a citizen of Netstown. Josh Bard 1 for 4 with an RBI in the series. And he jacks one to right. First hit of the game for either team.
Yeah,
and Bard not hitting for high average, but pretty consistent. 6 base hits now in the last 6 games he has started.
Well, you get to him before he gets to the breaking ball. Here he throws him the fastball, middle of the plate, in. Once he gets to that curveball and that cutter and changeup, he's a tough customer. But first ball hitting early in the game, we talked about not swinging at the first pitch, but this is where when a guy throws a lot of strikes, you go up there looking for a ball that's fat and rip it.
Strike one to Garrett Mock. 1 for 15 this year without a sacrifice. He has 1 career sacrifice bunt.
Just one?
Just one. Well, he was a reliever most of the time. And sometimes the guys aren't out in front of you. Adam Wainwright evidently hasn't read the medical report on Josh Bard. If Josh is stealing here, I'm buying dinner for the plane.
I'm gonna I can't buy it, but I'd buy the plane.
That's a breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Mock buckled on a breaking ball there. You have to have him bunt because you can't have your hitter or your pitcher hit into a double play here. Oh, he does swing away.
I'm not sure he didn't miss a sign there.
1 on 1 out. Willie Harris coming up, and Debbie Taylor, things sure have changed with Niger Morgan out.
Oh, they really do, Bob, and you have to check out these numbers. Niger was hitting .349 in the leadoff spot compared to .270 for all other Nats leadoff batters. Now on base overall, the on base percentage is pretty close, but in the first inning, Niger was on fire with a .408 on base percentage, and Niger being a speedster is something the Nats will definitely miss sorely. 24 stolen bases compared to 8 from the other leadoff hitters, Bob.
I'm a little surprised the other guys that scored more runs, even though Morgan only played in just over 48 games.
Well, he's been a godsend to this organization. Great job, Mike Rizzo. As one of the toughest things to find in all of baseball is a leadoff hitter, and then maybe the second toughest is a center fielder that can go get it, that also leads off, and he can do it all. He really can. I've been so impressed with him, and I think we've had enough of a sampling over a long enough period of time with him also in the league last year that pitchers don't have anywhere to go to adjust on him. So I think we're seeing something that he's going to be able to sustain for 5 years plus.
Willie Harris shows bunt, takes a pitch outside, 2-0. That got Green on the move in from third. Green by trade is shortstop, but they're not moving Brendan Ryan for anybody right now unless he's taking a day off. And Willie may get something to work with here on 2-0. Pujols holding the runner. And Albert had just about as big a leadoff as Josh Bard did. He had to backtrack a step or two to take that throw.
I'm with you. The great Tom Seaver always told the young pitchers, don't worry about a runner on first base if he has no speed. Don't even think about it. You're just cutting into your concentration and providing an aggravation that you don't need. I'm sure that's not coming from the bench.
A lot of hitting room over there for Willie if he can pull a ball here.
Tony, a lot of, and I would do this. I would play him behind the runner just to give the first baseman more range. Pujols is not comfortable behind the runner. Therefore, Tony plays him on the bag, has him move out just a tad, and that ensures that he's square.
Very bottom of the strike zone with that fastball. 2-2 now. Harris on a breaking pitch strikes out. So Willie took the straight one and tried to hit the curving one, and it's strikeout number 3 for Adam Wainwright.
Well, that looked like he was looking for the breaking ball to hold at bat, and you can't do it against Wainwright. It's too good. What you do when you have a breaking ball that big is you force yourself to swing at the spin. So you got in your mind he's going to throw you a breaking ball, and you swing at the spin. And I've done that, Bobby, and what you have to do is eliminate the curveball because if he throws it the way he wants to, you're not going to hit it anyway. I don't care if you are looking for it.
Guzman pulled the ball first time and bounced out to the second baseman. Wainwright trying to paint that outside corner, just missing 2-0.
You see his fastball's 91. Garrett Mock 91 to 93. No different. Garrett Mock's curveball almost as good. Garrett's a little harder. One reason this curveball is as effective as it is, aside from the big break, is he throws it off speed.
Guzman had designs on flipping that ball into left field. Wainwright's career record 42 and 23. His 80th career start. He's also made 53 bullpen appearances, and he was on the mound to save the World Series clincher for St. Louis against Detroit 3 years ago.
An interesting stat that I actually figured up. It says in the book that he holds a 6th best ERA with just 2.99 after the All-Star break, Bobby. I added into that this year's stats, and he's up to 4th best in all of baseball after the All-Star break with a 2.73 earned run average after the All-Star break, and that's over the last 3 years. So he gets better as the year goes on.
Big, strong kid, kind of the prototype of the modern pitcher. 6'3", 230. Actually, he's I was looking at Mock, and he's no small guy himself, but Wainwright stands almost 6'7" and weighs about the same as Garrett Mock. But a lot of people look at a body like this and they say that's what a major league pitcher should look like these days.
Well, Chris Carpenter's right there with him.
Yeah.
6'6", monster, big butt and strong thighs, quads.
Fastball inside. Scott Berry had a little body language there. The umpire was leaning as if he was going to pull out the bow and arrow. Now Bart will be running.
Well, that's a better pitch. You see the ball just missing that corner down there, but that's a better pitch than what he called on Willingham. Willingham's first bat.
Yeah. So Bart will get a head start. Pujols just right behind him. He'll back up now. And a 3-2 coming. And Guzman stays alive. This is an important sequence for the Nats because you have your number 3 man coming up, having a fantastic RBI year, and you'd love to see Ryan Zimmerman batting with 2 men aboard here in a scoreless ball game.
Working that pitch count up too, Bob, and this is the kind of at bat that hitting coaches love. You work the pitcher, you take him deep, you make him throw a lot of pitches. Why Guzman has hit 300 over the last 3 years.
Fastball on 3-2, and he stays alive again.
Great job. Great job. Keep working him, keep him out there, get the pitch count up, and eventually you get that pitch count up to 60 pitches after 3 innings, and you're talking about a guy going 5 innings. It just works out that way unless he just puts people down in the 4th and 5th. In the middle of the Cardinals bullpen, not that strong.
3-2 again, and somehow he makes contact with that big sweeping breaking ball.
Has 10 pitches, and he's making contact, Bob, because he's shortened his stroke. You know, we have a bunch of guys, and they know it. I certainly have said it enough that when they get 2 strikes, they don't change anything. They don't shorten up. They still think about hitting a bomb. You know, my feeling is take the first 2 pitches, try to hit a double. Once you get 2 strikes, make some kind of contact.
And a high tapper left side. Ryan, long throw, out on a close one. Ryan gets Guzman, who is running hard from the left side of the batter's box. Nationals settle for 1 hit. They've stranded their 2nd runner of the game, and St. Louis continues to get very good defense. Two and a half innings in the scorebook, and nothing happening offensively for either team. How about the pitching matchup so far? Garrett Mock, 32 pitches, 20 strikes, and showing a Wainwright-like hook so far today.
Yeah, he's got a good curveball. The key is to repeat it. Wainwright, maybe the best curveball in the league. Certainly there's not too many people better. He bears the fastball in, curveball to Harris. He mounts those strikeouts, 6 in the league coming in today with 157 strikeouts.
Brendan Ryan on a high fastball. Right center, Dukes is after it. He'll get there. About 360 feet away. Elijah's been reading the ball extremely well in right field on this road trip.
He surely has. The best I've seen him play as far as getting jumps on the ball. He's going toward the line. He's going toward the gap. A little note there, Garrett Mock throwing the fastball up and out. Little guys like Ryan used a big part of the ballpark late in the batting order. Throw that fastball up and out away from him. Let him hit it as far as he wants to the other way. Same way with Wainwright. He's a good hitter.
Adam Wainwright hit a home run off the Nats 2 years ago at RFK against Matt Chico, August 5th of 07. One of his 2 career long balls. He can swing the bat. 11 for 71 this year. Actually, 2 home runs this year. And so 5 in his career. And Mock with a really good hard breaking ball. He's got some serious stuff going today.
He does. Could tell it right out of the bullpen. The caddy was able to spend about an hour and a half with him yesterday.
Oh, look at that changeup.
That's beautiful.
A strikeout in each inning for Mock. He's got the first 2 Cardinals here in the 3rd with Schumacher coming up.
Well, he throws him the fastball, the breaking ball, comes with a changeup and great movement. Choke change, maybe a circle change, but he chokes it back into those 3 fingers, gets it back in the palm of the hand, eliminates that wrist action, and it just kills the ball.
Schumacher struck out swinging on a hard hook first time. And Garrett starts him off low. Challenges him with the fastball.
So he's up to 94. He's just nice and easy today. It might be the cool weather, Bob. He came out of that bullpen throwing fastball strikes over the plate. Showed the best curveball that I've seen him throw all year, although against the Colorado Rockies in that last start at home, he had a great curveball and changeup. There it is again.
Look at that hook.
Pretty.
Well, you know, Garrett's from Houston, pitched at the U of H down there, and he always told me that he knew how to handle hot, very muggy weather. But today in the cool of St. Louis, looking just about as good as he has ever looked as a starter.
You know, he's getting it and throwing it too. Sometimes he stands around out there a little bit, and I think that's indecision. It looks like to me that he has a real good feel for what he wants to do, so he's getting it and firing it.
2-2 to Schumacher, had him reaching. The Marlins gave up 3 in the 4th at home to the Padres and then scored 5. The Nats play at San Diego next, so they're 5-3 in the 6th inning. The Mets are trailing at Chicago 1-0 in the 3rd. And Atlanta and Philadelphia, the other 2 teams in the division, get together tonight. Braves became the first National League team to beat Cliff Lee. 3-2 from Mock to Schumacher. High in the air and twisting well out of play, left field side. We are coming to you from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Ballpark in its 4th year, capacity 46,000. It's already seen a world championship. Bob Carpenter, Ray Knight, Debbie Taylor, Masson HD. It's no score, bottom 3. Mock and Wainwright hooking up nicely. And a little tapper to the right side for Pete Orr. Garrett Mock, only 1 walk in 3 innings. Wainwright just as good. Zimmerman on the way. Right now, Garrett Mock matching up almost identically with one of the best pitchers in the league, Adam Wainwright. No score through 3. They're 1 pitch apart and both pitching beautifully.
Yeah, they both featured the curveball today, and the best that I've seen Garrett Mock throw. He started out with a fastball, established that. Hasn't thrown a lot of changeup, but that curveball, he's throwing it with great bite and great consistency.
So who's going to get the first offense in a ball game like this today? Adam Wainwright takes the mound for the top of the 4th inning, and leading off for the Nats, their number 3 guy, Ryan Zimmerman.
Well, Zim, he's a good matchup with Wainwright. He's hitting .333, Bobby, over his career, 5 for 15. And he's a guy that goes up there and looks for the fastball. You don't see Zim, really look for the big breaking balls very often. He sometimes looks for the slider, hits that to right center field. But, he's had some pretty good success against Wainwright over his career.
Ground ball to short, first time up today. St. Louis has kept the ball away from Ryan Zimmerman in this series. If they get ahead in the count, pounding the dirt with breaking balls. He just showed him the number 1 there. And there's the hook. Ryan might have broken his bat on a grounder up the middle for Schumacher. Adam Dunn, 6th inning, leading off last night. His 2nd hit of the game, and this one went a long way.
He stays back, so big and strong, has just learned how to keep that weight back. He sets it on the left side and puts the bat on his shoulder, gets a little bit of start, and just doesn't lose any of that torque as he strides softly.
St. Louis puts the big shift on. Dunn pulled the ball to Brendan Ryan, who's on the second base side of the bag. There are actually 2 infielders standing on outfield grass here. Not all ball clubs play the shortstop out that far against Adam.
No, I think that's the first time I've seen that, actually. How about you? Have you seen anybody else?
I don't think so. I don't think there's you. In fact, if you count Green now, 3 of them are standing on the grass.
Yeah, and Albert's a half a step off of it.
Yeah.
Why don't he just bunt right here? Just hit anything soft.
It's too bad Albert doesn't back up. I've never seen 7 outfielders at one time before. Heartbreaking ball inside, 3-0. Highest career average against this pitchers with at least 10 ABs. The D-backs Connor Jackson, and then Niger, then Griffey. Boy, it's too bad Niger's not around this weekend. Quality hitters all, Russell Martin, Adam Dunn, most of them lefties except for Russell Martin. 3-1. And he slipped one down and away from Adam, who struck out twice Friday night but made contact last night, had a couple of hits.
Those 24 hits to left field, that's something he's done more and more this year.
And one of them against the Orioles was a grand slam. He'll take the 1-out walk, the 98th time he's walked this year. A week from Tuesday is another T-shirt Tuesday, right out of Labor Day. First 10,000 fans to the ballpark receive a free Natstown T-shirt presented by the Potomac Nationals. Nats Phillies that night, 202-675-NATS. Nationals.com or the box office at the ballpark on a daily basis, with parking on the street available just a few steps away. Big breaking ball to Willingham.
Yeah, and over the last 3 weeks they have pitched Josh very tough, throwing him the majority of pitches breaking balls, and then when they do throw him fastballs, as you saw in his last at bat, it's usually in right underneath his belt.
Oh baby, another big one.
He's got a good one, doesn't he? And he throws it for strikes at any time.
Not afraid to repeat it.
And you know, the thing about repeating it is your second one has to be as good as your first one.
He threw him a third one low and away.
All the while Josh has in the back of his mind, last time at bat, he buzzed him right underneath his belt and did not get the call. Wainwright punched him out. Looking.
Questionable call. Hard breaking ball away. More of the slider there. And a 2-2 count.
I think he's going to go back to the curveball. I just don't believe he's going to throw him a fastball. That looks like a breaking ball. It's that little cutter.
Yeah, he threw him the cutter at the knees. And Josh Willingham, 2 strikeouts today. He's 0 for 8 this weekend.
Well, he's pitched him perfectly. This ball right at the bottom of the strike zone, just nicking it. The other at bat right on the corner. Not sure that it nicked it. But that's 2 times he's been called out on perfect pitcher's pitches that even if you swing at, you're not going to do anything but foul it off. Maybe.
Elijah Dukes, breaking ball and a foul. Northrop Grumman Information Systems is now hiring. Visit meetngc.com/IS. meetngc.com/IS. The Information Systems powerhouse. Elijah Dukes hit by a pitch, a fastball right in the numbers first time, and a breaking ball low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that's 7 out of 8 breaking balls.
Well, it's a good fastball hitting lineup, no doubt about that. They're going to jam him here. And up around the hands, 2-1.
Well, this is where he has an advantage because he can throw the breaking ball for a strike. 2-1. He's not afraid to throw it.
Breaking ball hanging. Dukes hits it to left, but he didn't get it. That's how good Wainwright's hook is. He hung one, and the hitter couldn't hit it out of the ballpark. Still scoreless. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by McDonald's. Feeling thirsty? Try a refreshing 32-ounce Mickey D's sweet tea. I'm loving it at participating McDonald's. Downtown St. Louis revitalized back in the mid-60s by the construction of the Arch and the old Busch Stadium. And hopefully our neighborhood in D.C. on South Capitol Street to experience the same renaissance. Colby Rasmus. And Ray Knight, I would imagine of the 14 homers he's hit as a rookie, none of them went further than what he did on that swing last night.
Yeah, I don't know if he can hit one farther than that. If he can, the league may be in trouble. He's in the running for Rookie of the Year. He's leading in a lot of categories or in the top 5. And he hasn't been here that long. Another Georgia boy.
Yeah, what is up with the state of Georgia? Rasmus second in home runs, and he has the first St. Louis hit of the day. Second in home runs among rookies, second in RBIs, third in total bases, fourth in hits. So he's got a shot at that Rookie of the Year. Doesn't hurt when you're on a first place team.
He's got that high leg lift that might give him trouble. You've got to get that front foot down. When you lift it that high, it is a matter of timing and getting the front foot down in order to throw those hands at the ball. He lifts that thing up. Looks like to me, just looking at the way he approaches the ball, I would have to throw him soft and take a chance of him floating to get that foot on the ground. He has certainly teed off on a couple of fastballs.
Albert Pujols and a 2-strike pitch popped up to Zimmerman first time. Runner goes. Tapper. That's trouble. Ryan can't pick it up. Play at third, no. Rasmus goes 180 feet on an Albert Pujols infield hit.
Well, once this happens here, you don't have a play at first. You do not have a play at first. You just slow up, catch the ball. Once it's stopped, you stop and make sure that you hold a runner at third. I don't know what
That's second,
is thinking. I mean, at second, yes. There's no chance. No man's land when the ball is not coming out at you and it loses its steam. You have no play. Zim just needs to catch that ball in his glove and hold the runner at second base.
I think he was thinking that Pujols, who is not fast, he might still have a shot at first.
Well,
First and third, nobody out. Holiday.
That's what he was thinking, but you don't have many balls that die like that. The ball usually comes on out at you, and the velocity of the ball allows you to have time. As the ball rolls towards you, it's eating up the ground that the runner takes going to first base. When it comes out there and just stops, you end up having to make up all that ground yourself.
Matt Holliday was trying to make it 3-0 on the first pitch right there. This is just beyond the point of the ball game when he knocked in 3 with a long ball last night. You folks may not believe this, but leading St. Louis in stolen bases this year is Albert Pujols with 13. At least players who've been on this club all year long. Out of play. Matt Holliday stole 12 bases with Oakland before he came over here. No wonder he won it out of Oakland. They thought he was a punch hitter stealing bases. But he's an RBI guy here.
Well, let's just set this thing up right here. You got first and third. We read a quote prior to the game. Sandy Koufax says he became a good pitcher when he stopped worrying about missing bats and pitch to contact. Right here, you don't want to strike this guy out. Just get a ground ball, let them score a run, forget about that, and get on out of here with minimal damage.
He's going to get a fastball at the letters. And if Willingham's ball earlier today was a strike, that one in that same area. Holiday extremely upset.
Pitch sequence here, a little slider that he fouls off, a little cutter, then a fastball right down the middle, up, comes back with a fastball inside. Same pitch that he called on Willingham, and hey, you got to know the umpire strike zone. Sometimes it's not what that little rectangle shows.
Yeah. Well, that is now the one to Josh was a little bit lower, but that was about the same distance off the plate as the ball that punched out Willingham back in the second inning.
And you also have to know if the umpire is a banger. I mean, he's already banged Josh twice, and I mean, he's a guy that's going to bang you if it's close. He likes to throw that right hand out there. That's what I'd be thinking.
First pitch change up to Rick Ankiel, who walked his first time.
It's a great job right there by Garrett Mock, and what I loved about it is he went with power. He went with his fastball. It shows he's not afraid to throw the fastball, and that's something that's unlike what a lot of our starters have done. And I know that listening to you and Rob, y'all have talked about that all year long. Guys just tend to go to the breaking ball or their second or third best pitch in crucial situations, and there's not a better pitch than a located fastball.
And that was 0-2. And I know Don Sutton used to say, why waste a pitch? Throw something quality in that situation. Don't throw it down the middle, but up and in, low and away, at least something to give the hitter the impression it might be near the corner. And Mock was able to do that. But now he's gone 2-0 on Rick Ankiel, who's 0 for his last 11. Looked like a changeup, and he missed. 3-0.
Well, it's not going to hurt him right here. I don't like to pitch around people when you have runners stacked on base and you're building big innings, but you've got a strikeout guy in Green next. So if you walk this guy, it's not the worst thing in the world. You're pitching for... It's short.
This ball not that deep, but that's deep enough to score. Rasmus runs well. Willingham knows it, and Ankiel gets his 35th RBI. St. Louis leads 1-0. They cheer sacrifice flies here like they cheer home runs in some ballparks.
Well, that's the Cardinal way. It's not about hitting bombs. It's about producing runs. Great base running by Rasmus as he running full tilt to second base. Sees a little judgment and error.
Yeah, he stole him that run, didn't he?
He did.
Now with a runner at first and 2 outs, here's Khalil Green. Sun trying to peek out here on a 70-degree afternoon in late August in a town where they're going to be printing playoff tickets shortly. They lead the Cubs by 9 in the Central.
Long before Tony La Russa came.
Front door slider for a strike.
The St. Louis Cardinals established under Branch Rickey that they were going to play the baseball game correctly. And nobody over the course of the last 50 years has played the ball game more fundamentally sound, whether it was Johnny Keane, Red Shindigs, Whitey Herzog, Kenny Boria was here for a little while, Joe Torre. They've always played fundamentally sound. That's a good pitch.
10 retired numbers out there.
I really like the way that they have honored the players here more than any organization in baseball other than the Yankees. They tend to reward the people that have been here in the organization for a long time.
They keep their alumni involved.
They
and I know the Nationals someday will do that. You know, the Nationals don't have former players as a rule to bring in for events and appearances, but they probably do that here better than anywhere else. 2 balls and a strike to Khalil Green. Fastball is up, 3-1.
All of a sudden he's gotten tight. The slider was a strike. He called that pitch a ball. That's the first pitch that I've seen him not ring up. This pitch right here is borderline strike, right at the top of the mask.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's a strike. Khalil, he can't touch a breaking ball. I'm telling you, if these guys would just pay attention, you just spin him a breaking ball, he can't touch it. Never has been able to. And as long as that left shoulder spins, he'll never be able to.
3-2 with 2 outs. Pujols will be on the move. Adam Dunn plays near him.
Hook him again.
He does. Fair ball. Bard's got it. And the Cardinals are gone in the 4th. They get a run on a couple of singles, a sac fly. Pete Orr, Bard, and then Mock in the 5th straight ahead. One nothing St. Louis, top of the 5th coming up. And how about the weekend Pete Orr's enjoying in his return back to the major leagues? On Friday night, batting second, he had a base hit, a stolen base, and a sacrifice fly. Hard into the bag. Ball went into center field. He went to third. He would score. And then he was lashing line drives all over the place. 2 singles, a double in the 6th, and another base hit in the 8th inning. They got him out today on a ground ball to second. Pete Orr's 5 out of 8. Lays down a bunt, and it's going to be a base hit. Beautiful.
Smart ball player. Man, this kid knows how to play the game. And he's good enough that he should be on somebody's championship caliber ball club. Just don't have players that play the game this way anymore. And he's underappreciated. He can run, he swings the bat, he can play 3 infield positions, he can play the outfield, and he's just got a tremendous attitude.
There's Josh Bard, who singled on the first pitch he saw from Adam Wainwright leading off the 3rd.
.68 mile an hour. Blooper.
Somewhere in the third base dugout, Livan Hernandez is smiling.
Yeah, Wainwright, he may not have the best curveball. I mean, it's as good as anybody's, it looks to me, but I think he has the best command of it, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, when he wants to throw it for a strike, he can throw it 2 or 3 different speeds.
And it's the time of the game, because he's been around the plate walking only 1 man, although he did hit 1, when the zone starts getting a little bigger for pitchers like him. He's established his presence in the strike zone.
Well, Josh ripped first pitch fastball to right field, so what he does, he comes back, he makes the adjustment and gears down, throws him a real slow curveball. See what Josh does. Usually the pitcher sets the tone. The hitter makes the adjustment off the pitcher. There you go. That's the same pitch that Josh hit to right field for a base hit. An 89 mile an hour fastball to hit to right field. There's 88 miles an hour. But after the slow curveball, it plants a little something in your mind, and it shows you how hitters can be pitched to. Same exact pitch that hit a rocket. but followed by a slow curve, changes his thought process. He takes it right down the middle. You got that figured out, don't you, Bob?
Absolutely. That's why I'm up here watching. 0-2 to Bard. Had to swing, even though it's a long play. I thought they might be able to go for 2, but Pete Orr really went after Schumacher. He had a ways to go to get to the bag, playing Bard to pull. So the Nats lose a fast base runner, and then a slower injured one is on base.
Not a real good exchange. Josh just battling for his life there, reaches out and punches that ball.
Ask about the Nats at massinsports.com. Give us a shout on email. This is the last time we'll have Ray in the booth for a while, and then Ray will be back in the studio on Friday. Going to have a little family time in Georgia for the next 4 days. Good for you. Rob Dibble will rejoin us in San Diego.
Hey, man, I've got to talk to Dibs. Sutton took a lot of days off last year. I got to come out and see the ball club and travel, and Dibs, he just works all the time. I hear him on radio all the time.
You know what? I know you're not supposed to say this at work, but I'm going to say it to you.
All right.
Not my department. I read online that's one of the top 10 things you're never supposed to say at work. It's not in my job description.
Well,
we love having you, buddy, and you and Johnny do a fantastic job in the studio.
Well, we love it, man.
You guys enjoyed being at the ballpark every day this year?
We have. It's been a joy being with the fans, and you know, it just keeps you young, and you know, just feel so much more a part of it, and you could do a better job at the park, no question about it. When you're watching on TV, you're just seeing things, and I'm taking notes and going through the computer and looking up things. At the ballpark, it's just pure. You know, you see it as it happens. Crack of the bat tells you how hard the ball's hit. But it's been an enjoyable year. Even though we've struggled, you see some positive things happening, and you know,
Garrett Mock, second strikeout with the bat today in a bat where he was at times attempting to bunt.
Well, you know, that answers that question that I asked you before. Only one sacrifice. Well, that's why.
That's not good.
He can't bunt.
Willie Harris is 0 for 2 and 2 for 10 in this series. The Nationals had 11 hits last night, same as St. Louis, but got outscored 9-4. The Nats out hit the Cardinals 7-5 Friday, but lost 3-2. Only 2 hits for each club today. We thought it might be a stingy day for that. And I think if you would have told Jim Riggleman that he'd be in the 5th inning in a 1-0 game and Garrett Mock pitching well, he would have been happy with that.
Oh, yeah. You just want to have a chance to win going into those last 9 outs.
Harris way out ahead of a changeup.
You know, and this ball club has done that. I mean, they've done that over the last 2 months. They've had a chance to win. They've been in ball games. And there's no question that they've played much, much better with a little more urgency.
I remember when the Cardinals made that deal back in December on the 13th of 2003 when they got Ray King, Jason Marquis, and Adam Wainwright from Atlanta for J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero, a catcher utility guy. And John Mozeliak was a young man in the organization at that time. Walt Jocketty was the GM who engineered that deal. And they thought that eventually the key to that deal would be a young Adam Wainwright, who had not made a splash at the major league level yet. He had just come off a 10-8 season at Greenville. At that time, the Braves AA with a 3.37 ERA. And a lot of people around baseball were surprised that Atlanta parted with him at that time.
Yeah,
but they needed a bat.
They did.
And they traded a bunch of talent for J.D. Drew. 3-2, Bard will be running. Willie Harris will hit one well to left, but it's right at Matt Holliday. Bats are quiet against Wainwright. A lot of other teams have had to say that this year.
Welcome back to St. Louis, everybody. The Nats trailing the Cardinals by a score of 1-0 as we move to the bottom of the inning. Now, Jim Riggleman was the Cardinals' first base coach here back in 1989 and 1990 under former Cardinals manager Whitey Herzog, who many consider one of the best in the business.
When you're coaching under him, to watch him manage a ball game, it was pretty special. You know, he was brilliant, and really a sharp guy, smart guy, great person, great motivator. Just he was the whole package.
Jim also told me he would not have had the opportunity to manage in the big leagues had he not worked for Whitey Herzog, and he also likened it to being an assistant to Coach Bear Bryant at Alabama. Once you're an assistant for him, you're a lock for a head coaching position. Bob?
Whitey Herzog was one of those guys who came here prior to '82. He got Ozzie Smith in a trade from San Diego for a pretty good shortstop at that time, Gary Templeton, and turned it into a world championship team. They hadn't won a World Series since '67 and hadn't been to the series since '68, so that was a 14-year drought for this organization. And the White Rat was considered one of the best ever, and some feel he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm one of those. I'm one of those people who believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. He
You
did
had to
so
play
much.
against some of those teams,
Oh,
didn't
I
you?
played against all those teams, most of those teams, and got to know Whitey real well. He's big in the player alumni deal. We always play that big tournament down in St. Petersburg, and I got to play with him one day. And in the tournament, he and Joe Pignatano with the Mets, and Bob Schaefer was a foursome, and then from that time on, we shared a lot of interests. He loves to fish. I love to fish. We both loved the game. He was a player's manager, but commanded tremendous respect, and nobody ever got ahead of him in the game. He was Tony La Russa long before Tony La Russa, but not with. He didn't want you to think that he was smart. He didn't throw that out there. I remember meeting him, Bob, in spring training in 1971. I was in St. Petersburg when he was a minor league director for the New York Mets. And Roger Maris came down from Gainesville, Florida to visit Whitey. He and Roger were big buddies. And I met Roger Maris for the first time in 1971. And saw Whitey every day as he was out at that Joan Payson complex in St. Petersburg, Florida.
A great evaluator of talent. You know, he was brutally honest, too. He would tell you what he thought. He didn't mince any words, did he?
No, he was straight from the old school, when a man was a man and a ball player was a ball player.
Garrett Mock, and he gets Molina reaching. Pete Orr throws him out, and as part of Whitey Herzog's brutal honesty, when St. Louis lost Bruce Sutter to the Atlanta Braves to free agency, and he had helped them win the World Series here, somebody asked him about it, and Whitey Herzog said, "I just got 40 games dumber." You know, he knew that great players gave you a much better chance to win than just a brilliant manager. And Bruce Sutter was the guy who helped them win that series here. But that was Herzog, who recognized that you can be a great manager, but if you don't have the horses, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, at the back end of Keith Hernandez's stint here, he and Whitey had some problems because Keith was a guy that Civil War buff, loved to do crossword puzzles, sit in the clubhouse working crossword puzzles, and Whitey had a guy who was a league batting champion, the best fielding first baseman maybe of all time, and was not content with him because of the way that he perceived Keith going about his business. He ended up moving him on to New York. He didn't put up with a whole lot. And one thing that he did that was so similar to my first manager, Sparky Anderson, was, hey, you have to respect the game in a way that when somebody walks in that door, no matter what time of day it is, you're doing the right thing.
2-1 to Brendan Ryan, who fouls one away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It wasn't so much you automatically had to do it on the field, but it was about the way you conducted yourself off the field and represented the St. Louis Cardinals or the Kansas City Royals or whatever club that he was affiliated with.
Ryan flied to center field first time up, and a count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. Challenged him with a fastball. Zimmerman waits for it. Flips it over to Dunn for the second out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Adam Dunn will be featured. You can submit your questions to him on the Know Your Nats segment from the Natstown blog. If your question shows you win a free t-shirt. So go to natstown.mlblogs.com, get the most exclusive Nats news, and you can email your question to natstown@nationals.com. Adam will give you a straight answer. He's another guy that doesn't mess around. He'll tell you what's on his mind, and I really think he's been good at connecting with our fans through that so far. He's really an enjoyable guy to talk baseball with.
Well, he's accessible. I mean, there's not one bit of pretentiousness in that man.
Adam Wainwright, swing and a miss. He struck out swinging first time up. Bases empty, 2 outs here, bottom of the 5th inning. On a quiet Sunday afternoon with the breezes blowing and cool temperatures in St. Louis. Front door breaking ball just missed. It was interesting going into the 5th inning. Wainwright 63 pitches, 39 strikes. Mock 61 pitches, 39 strikes.
He's matched one of the best pitchers in the game, and they've looked very similar.
And the difference in the ball game really is a 35-foot chopping base hit by one of the mightiest men in the game, Albert Pujols.
He's only given up 2 hits, one of them out of infield. No hard fly balls hit. First fly ball of the game to right field. Rasmus hit that ball pretty solid that Elijah tracked down. Other than that, shoot.
Well said. Shoot. Guzman on a broken bat ground ball. Here come the big boys. Guzman coming in from shortstop, Zimmerman from third, and Adam Dunn 2, 3, and 4 straight ahead. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Top of the 6th inning in scenic St. Louis. A cool day for baseball. 1-0. Both pitchers very, very good so far. Friday, September 4th, Roberto Clemente night at Nationals Park. Brought to you by the United States Marine Corps, the Nats and the Marlins. And come early, pregame presentation of the Clemente Award to a national, video tribute to the great number 21, and a whole lot more. 202-675-NATS. Visit nationals.com. Get your red on for the upcoming homestand with the Nats take on the Marlins and honor Roberto Clemente. Top of the 6th inning underway with a change up for a strike to Christian Guzman. A rather sparse Nats box score goes rolling by. Only 2 hits.
Well, you don't throw 25 consecutive 6-inning plus games unless you're really, really good. And this kid is really good.
Throw him a breaking ball off speed. 1-2, only 2 Nationals hits. Josh Bard in the 3rd, and then a bunt by Pete Orr in the 5th. 4 runners stranded by Washington, 2 by St. Louis. Dave Duncan in the news today. There's speculation he may not be here next year. Evidently not real happy with the way the trade of his son Chris was handled to Boston, and Duncan had plenty of injuries before that. Interesting story. He's been with Tony La Russa for better than 25 years.
It's something when you I'm sure there have been other issues in 25 years, but when it comes to your kids, hey, a little different attitude, isn't there?
I would say so.
What do you mean you'd say so? You know so. You got 3 girls.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you react a little bit differently in situations like that. Christian Guzman, couple of ground balls today. Zimmerman and Dunn to follow in the top of the 6th inning.
My point is, I'm sure that in the course of his times with the Cardinals and Oakland, and that there were other players that got treated that way.
And a fastball right down the middle, strikes out Guzman looking. And that's the first out here in the 6th inning with Zimmerman and Dunn coming up.
It just goes right back to that fastball and throwing it to the down part, and there's where Christian's moving his feet. I noticed he moved his feet his last at bat when he went to got to all those pitches that he fouled off. But Wainwright, he's a master out there.
Yeah. Well, he's got 4 pitches, moves them around, changes speeds, eye levels in and out. I mean, when you put it all together, Ray, he's got about 8 to 12 different looks he gives a hitter anytime.
He's a little bit like Maddox. He doesn't have as good a sinker, but he has the same feel for where the bat barrel is, and he goes off where the bat barrel is. That's what made Greg Maddox so special. You would sit over there, me in the third base coaching box with Cincinnati, and he'd pitch, and you just didn't see that much velocity, and guys just could not hit the ball solidly. He just kept adding on, taking off, right there. I mean, you can't go up there looking for a 73-mile-an-hour curveball, and he's liable to throw it 68 or 77. Just a bite. I mean, he already has 8 ground balls, and 7 of those have come on curveballs that you hit the top of it going down.
Fastball started off the plate, came swinging back 2-2.
Now, as you said, partner, he's starting to get the benefit of every pitch is borderline.
The strike zone's a little bigger now, and he deserves that.
Wants to go away with the fastball.
Nobody's swinging.
Well, he's making perfect pitches, and that should go. If you're in that dugout, our young pitchers watching him pitch, it is about location. He throws this ball right in the glove. I mean, he didn't even have to move the glove. And control is the biggest part of pitching. It's not how hard you throw, it's where you throw it. He doesn't even move the glove. I mean, he threw that thing right through a keyhole.
And give the catcher a little bit of credit too. This kid's pretty good. The youngest of the 3 Molinas back there, Yadier. He's already won a couple of Gold Gloves, considered by just about everybody the best catcher in this league. Rocket of an arm. He's thrown out 34% of opposing base runners, but he doesn't do that when Wainwright and Carpenter pitch because nobody's on base. Adam Dunn, a ground ball and a walk today. 2 for 9 in the series. And Wainwright keeping the ball down, falling behind 3-0. 1-0 game. If Adam Dunn sees anything that resembles a fastball near the plate right here, he's got to be swinging.
Dave Duncan shares this. He won't see a pitch very close.
He throws him a breaking ball and walks him.
No.
2 walks today, both of them to Adam Dunn, and Adam will go down and visit Albert Pujols at first base. To both top 5 in homers, RBIs, top 3 in everything put together, the ops as they call it, on base percentage and slugging percentage. And the game-winning RBI, Albert's got the edge there with number 6 here on Friday night. 2 giant men. I noticed, by the way, that in the league RBI table, the top 10, 5 of those guys are first basemen. Prince Fielder, Ryan Howard, Albert Pujols, Adam Dunn, Derek Lee. Andre Ethier plays over there for the Dodgers. And at times, Mark Reynolds plays there for Arizona when he's not playing third.
Well,
so that's the power position.
It's the one place on the diamond that you always put the guys that, I'm saying this cautiously, that aren't as athletic, guys that don't have the feet. But in the case that you're talking about, all these guys, they are athletic. I mean, they can. You watch Fielder play. For a big guy, he moves extremely well. Albert, Gold Glove winner.
Big men are so much lighter and quicker on their feet now than they used to be.
But in my day, Willie McCovey over there, Stargell, I mean, big guys that just hammered the baseball.
Willingham takes a 2-0 breaking ball in there. I think you can tell by the fact that guys are not swinging at strikes is that Wainwright is just not putting anything in the middle of the plate. Everything's on a corner. I mean, he's throwing quality pitches and nobody's swinging.
Well, the biggest difference is the biggest plus. What's causing that to happen is the variance in speed. Not only is he moving it in and out, up and down. He's changing speed so effectively from 68 to 92. Hitters just can't get a feel.
Willingham takes a fastball for a strike, 92.
Well, see, that's just because his mind's messed up. Right now, he is in between. That pitch, you've got to hammer. 2-1 pitch, 2-2 pitch. You got to look fastball. And he's looking breaking ball and takes a fastball.
Way inside. And I'm done moving on the pitch, and it's 2 on 2 out. The Nats have walked their way to their best threat of the day right here. After 2 outs in the 6th, it's up to Elijah Dukes. First time today Washington's had 2 men on. Dukes hit by a pitch in the 2nd. Got a hanging breaking ball, but flied out to left, ending the 4th.
As a hitter, Bob, when a pitcher has this many pitches that he can go to, you have to be more patient to what your strength is. And
Dukes had a big time cut at a breaking ball there.
so if you like the ball away from you, thigh high, and you like the fastball, you go up there through the whole at bat looking for that ball in that area, and you just spit on everything else. If he gets the ball there, you hit it hard. You can't go up there and try to think with him. Too many options. You mentioned it, 5 or 6 different pitches that he can throw. You got no chance guessing with him. So you stick with your plan. Now, if you see something that changes your mind and you want to go up there and look for the breaking ball, then you have to put yourself in a position that you can best attack that by either moving up on the plate or moving forward. You change your position in the batter's box to give you the best opportunity to hit that ball square.
Front door breaking ball hangs up and in, 2-1. It's going to be a long inning for Wainwright here. He came into this inning with 77 pitches. He's at 102 now unofficially. A pair of 2-out walks. The Nationals need 1 big hit to tie this game or take the lead, and the crowd wants the 3rd out. They're cheering for it right now. Dukes rams one to left center that'll tie the game. Adam Dunn around 3rd. And Elijah Dukes didn't hit the ball that hard. It's his 52nd RBI. And Wainwright is hurt by the pair of 2-out walks.
Well, he threw a lot of breaking balls, but this one doesn't break. It stays up. You don't see that bottom dropping out of that ball, and still he hit it off the end of the bat. That showed you how much it was torquing, trying to break, but he hits the ball prior to it getting to the maximum bite. Was able to line it to left field. Good piece of hitting there.
Pete Orr's been the best Washington offensive player in this series. 6 out of 8. He tried to hold up. He did, but the ball hit the bat on the way by. Foul tip called by the home plate umpire, Scott Berry.
I heard Elijah say the other night that he thought the pitcher was the one in trouble. He likes hitting in those situations. He's shown that over the last month. He's been a great RBI guy.
Dukes is now 8 for his last 19 over 6 games. Yadier Molina might be discussing the location of that high breaking ball to Pete Orr. The Cardinals don't give specific information about the number of pitches throughout a guy's every start, but Wainwright is a big fella who can go well beyond 100. But he is laboring here in a 1-1 game. That doesn't mean he's not going to get it right and stick around for a while. But Pete Orr could do something about that. Nobody throwing in their bullpen. And Orr takes a fastball up and in.
Well, something I look for in a pitcher when he starts to tire is elevation. When you're a single ball pitcher, when you start to get a little tired, you start elevating the fastball. He's thrown 2 pitches out of his last 5 up. The next thing you look for is his breaking ball losing his snap. And the pitch that he threw to Elijah wasn't the same breaking ball that he's thrown throughout the ball game.
Pete Orr has a grand total of 26 major league RBIs. One of them in this series. And it'll be out of play to the left side. The count's even 2-2.
And then the third thing you look at is the most obvious, but sometimes a guy's trying to be real fine in the middle of the lineup when he's throwing to Dunn and Willingham, is if he loses command. Wainwright lost some command, 2 walks this inning. His fastball has been up. His curveball is not breaking as much.
Pete Orr fouls that one off his foot. This does not look like a guy who hit 245 at AAA when the Nationals called him up Friday.
Hey, it's easier to hit in the big leagues.
Why is that?
Because you see the ball better. The conditions are better. Your background is better. The guys have better control. I mean, when you're in AAA, if you're in an organization or a league that they put their top prospects there, you see guys that throw harder than in the big leagues or just as hard. They throw just as good as sliders. It's just not as consistent. Up here, they throw the ball around the plate. If you can put the bat on the ball, it's easier to hit.
Pete Orr hits it hard. Big hop right at Pujols. And the Cardinals get out of the inning, but the Nationals tied the game. 2 walks and a Dukes base hit. It's 1-1 after 5.5. Garrett Mock is center stage in our Geico highlights today. Ray Knight, 5 quality innings, giving up only a run on 2 hits.
Yacking slider, curveball, straight change, and fastball into Holiday. 3 different pitches. He's been as effective as he's been all year long, just scattering the 3 base hits. Actually 2 base hits, a little infield swing and bunt by Albert, and hard ground ball up the middle by Rasmus.
Yeah, 1 clean single. Colby Rasmus today. He'll bat after Schumacher here, and ahead of Pujols in the bottom of the 6th. Garrett Mock, 78 pitches, 49 strikes through 5. Wainwright has been worked up to 109 pitches, and they do have a lefty throwing. Schumacher 0 for 2. Rasmus and Pujols the only hits. Ankiel the RBI and a sac fly.
Lot to look forward to next year, Bob. You look at this ball club starting to play all the top teams solidly, getting exposure and experience for the young staff.
That ball well hit, but Willie Harris right there. 4th inning for St. Louis. Rasmus with a clean base hit to start it off. There's that swing on a ball up the middle, and then, Ray, you never know what's going to happen when a big guy does something like this.
No, Zim playing way back. Ball tops, dies, tries to make the play, and then Ankiel on a 2-1 pitch flies to left just deep enough to score Rasmus. And they do that. They score runs a lot of ways. Scratch them. They got a couple of bombers in the middle of the lineup. They'll hit and run. Mike Shannon last night told me that they have become a very solid ball club. We showed the acquisitions. DeRosa, Holiday, Lugo.
And Rasmus is 2 for 3. That'll bring up Albert Pujols. And a game situation here in the 6th for Garrett Mock. Nobody throwing in the Nationals bullpen.
Well, Garrett is up 2nd, so he's going to get him through this inning if there's any way he can. You're going to probably see some action. It's starting to mill around out there, but he'll definitely pinch hit for him in the top of the 7th. Now, if the leadoff hitter were to get on and Garrett could bunt, then you might see him push him, but Garrett's shown that he can't bunt.
Yeah.
He hasn't done it so far.
Fastball whistles right in there for a strike.
See, he's doing something he's not done this year. Late in the game, starting hitters off with fastball. Middle of the plate, working out, not the other way around. You try to hit corners and then move the ball back to middle of the plate. No, that doesn't work. You try to throw it to the middle and let it work its way off the corners, and you're always ahead in the count. Especially after you establish that you've got a changeup that is difficult to handle and a slider that can put you away.
Well, Greg Maddux always said the best pitch in baseball was a first pitch fastball with movement for a strike. Not just a dart right down the middle. Mock did that, missed with one. It's 1-1. If you can keep the ball down, Albert hits into a lot of double plays. That Tapper foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Change up, straight change up. Albert out front of the changeup, catching it on the end of the bat. So he started him with a fastball down the middle, missed with a fastball that he tried to locate away, came back with the changeup. Right now, if it were me and I had the feel of the good hook, I would throw him the hook. Just a good hook right at top of the strike zone, hoping it goes to the bottom of the strike zone. Elevates with a fastball. The longer you let this guy stay up there, the bigger your hole gets, because he just is not a guy. If you get him 0-2, 1-2, and make a pitch, you can get him out. But so he's got that ability to take those pitches.
2-2. Popped up right side. It'll be close. And it's about 3 or 4 rows in, plus the tarp was there. And Pujols lives to fight another pitch.
Now, this is what I feel. As a hitter, and a lot of people don't know this, and I'm going to throw it out there. I was drafted as a pitcher shortstop. Pitched some in the minor leagues, but wanted to play every day. Got a little idea how to pitch. This guy, if you throw him that good hook, he isn't going to do anything with it, because he's on that fastball, but he's going to go inside with a fastball.
Yeah, if you see an inside target, there's no curveball coming.
No. But it kind of befuddles me that you've got the good curveball today, and now you got 2-2 and you haven't thrown it yet. And this is a crucial situation. This is 6th inning. This is ball game time. This may be your last inning out there. I would like to see the curveball dropped on him. And he hasn't thrown it yet.
Oh, it gets away. Josh Bard turned his glove to the side. Now, much to the chagrin of those in St. Louis, the Nats could decide to walk Pujols here.
That's not a very good job. Ball's in the dirt there. You want to go down on your knees. Go ahead and block it, and if you smother it with your glove, fine. Well, Garrett, listen to me, buddy. Throw the hook here. If you miss with it, so what?
With first base open, there's no reason to throw the ball over the plate. It's 3-2 with 1 out. On a pitch up. A fastball up. Albert Pujols makes him pay.
The last pitch I'm throwing in the world is a fastball. I guarantee you I'm not going to throw it where he can get the bat on it. I'd rather put him on first base, even if I had to throw it, as I said yesterday, underhanded. You're not going to get this guy out with a fastball anywhere that he can put the bat barrel anywhere close to the ball.
Yeah,
I don't.
First base open, bad pitch.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Here's Holiday. And Pujols is picked off. Mock didn't see him. And he throws the ball into center field. Albert Pujols was 2/3 of the way to second before the pitcher reacted. They're going to have to give him a stolen base and then an error on Mock.
Presence of mind is everything. There he goes. I don't know what happened. I mean, he looked like he was looking over there. All you do is step back off the rubber, turn quickly. He looked like he was surprised when he saw him go, and it looked like he was looking over his shoulder.
Horrible throw. Nobody blocked it. And the Nationals are about to give away 2 runs here in the 6th inning. They gave away 4 in the 5th inning last night. And here comes Steve McCatty.
What happened there, Bob? I believe Adam yelled, "There he goes," because it looked like Garrett was kind of shocked.
But I didn't see Mock react until Bard stood up, and that was with Pujols at least halfway to second base.
Well, I know somebody. It was not a reaction that he was whirling to make a play. It was a reaction that he was surprised.
See if we can hear somebody. I can hear the dugout.
Yeah, I heard somebody.
I mean, if you just turn and throw the ball belt high to the second baseman, Albert Pujols is out. Clippard warms up. Burnett warms up. St. Louis leads 2-1, and they have a runner 90 feet away with one of their best RBI guys in there with only 1 out.
Well, who's the best fastball hitter in the league?
Albert Pujols.
All right. I'm not saying anything else.
And I'll ask you a question. What was Garrett Mock's best pitch today?
Breaking ball.
Okay.
He was good with his fastball, but not after you throw it 3 or 4 times to a guy that, you know, you're just not going to get him out with a fastball unless it's nasty black underneath the knees.
There's that hard breaking ball for a strike. He had Holiday buckling on it. Matt Holiday 0 for 2 today. Fly ball to right, called 3rd strike.
And if you're going to elevate the fastball, you do it 0-2, 1-2. You don't do it when you get to 3-2.
Tries to come up and in. That was not far from the pitch that punched out Holiday last time.
Hey, I'm not taking away the guy on third base, flat out rake.
Yeah.
You know.
But he doesn't need help.
No.
Holiday a chopper to Zimmerman. Ryan charges, watches Pujols. Albert stays at third, 2 down. Well played by the third baseman. Did everything right. And it'll be Mock against Ankiel.
And very nice job right there by Garrett. Being able to keep that runner on third base with less than 2 outs. Keeping the ball out of the air to a guy that hits a lot of fly balls and drives in a truckload of runs. So nice rebound there. Steve McCatty, I think his forte is his ability to give positive reinforcement to these guys. I know Randy St. Clair, nobody was better in mechanics and figuring out a pitcher's problem, but sometimes it's more like having that support and the positives. I think McCatty has that respect from these pitchers.
Mock approaching 100 pitches. He's at 96. Josh Bard will pay a visit. So this is going to be a nearly 20 pitch inning. Adam Wainwright just had a 32 pitch inning that might have taken him out of here. They had a left-hander, Trevor Miller, warming up. Not anymore. St. Louis throwing Kyle McClellan right now.
Yeah, your best pinch hitter on that bench is Belliard. So you probably want to go right-handed. You got left-handed Belliard, but then right-handed, left-handed switch. So you're probably going to have the right-hander come in, pitch to Bard, pitch to the pinch hitter.
Well, the Nats have no left-handed bats on the bench today.
Morrison, Belliard, Nieves,
Padilla, and Gonzalez. And a 1-1 coming to Rick Ankiel. Hard swing, foul, 1-2. Mets lead in the 6th inning at Chicago now over the Cubs 4-1. If the Nats can't come back in this one, St. Louis might have a 10-game lead in their division at the end of this week with 5 weeks to go. Swing and a miss on a fastball up and in. Mock gives Albert Pujols something too good to hit. And St. Louis goes on top after 6. On to the top of the 7th inning here. The Nats coming up. They are into the St. Louis bullpen. But an unfortunate turn of events there, as Garrett Mock pretty much allowed the best hitter in the game to take advantage of it.
Yeah, he had him set up 1 and 2 for the breaking ball. He chose not to do it. You know, sometimes you get frozen by sometimes calculating too much. Albert, you know he's going to hit the fastball. He tried to throw the fastball up. He got the bat barrel on it. Rasmus and Pujols doing all the damage, both with 2 hits apiece.
Well, the good news for the Nationals, they do have Adam Wainwright out of this game. He went over 100 pitches in 6 innings today.
Yeah, Wainwright just did what he's supposed to do. 26 consecutive games now that he's gone 6 innings plus, just allowing the 1 run on 3 national hits. We did leave 6 runners on base as he walked 2 and hit a batter in the 2nd inning, actually, when he nailed Dukes. But just what you expect from him.
Josh Bard grounding out, starting off the top of the 7th. And a big, strong right-handed batter, Mike Morris, will pinch hit for the Nationals here. Limited action so far. Mike is 2 for 9 in 6 ball games. Still looking for his first RBI as a National. He has seen action at the major league level, 300 at bats and 90 hits in parts of 4 years with Seattle, before coming over to the Nats June 28th for Ryan Langerhans. And meanwhile for St. Louis, Kyle McClellan, 54th ball game, a 3.21 ERA, 38 strikeouts, but 30 walks in 53 innings. Mike's had good pinch hitting success in his career, 6 for 16.
He's a big boy.
I mean, that's 100 points higher than a good pinch hitting batting average.
Yeah.
That was a hanging breaking ball, but they're playing Schumacher up the middle. 2 outs. Nationals flying out to San Diego after this ball game tonight, and then after a day off on Thursday, back home for the weekend. Marlins are coming in. We'll see the Phillies on that homestand. And for ticket information, 888-632-NATS, or you can always log on to nationals.com. Adam Wainwright gives the Nationals 3 walks, but only 3 hits, 1 run in 6 innings. He struck out 7, hit a batter, and threw 109 pitches, 65 strikes. Ball 1 to Willie Harris, 2 outs, bases empty. He shows bunt, draws Green in, and takes a strike. That's a breaking ball that drops right to the outside corner. Tried to buzz him with a fastball. He missed over but low, and the count's even 2-2. Working quickly, and Willie Harris stays alive. Marlins still on top, bottom of the 8th inning in Florida. After giving up 3 runs early to San Diego, they lead 6-4. Breaking ball, and Willie Harris is gone. McClellan throws a breaking ball just like Wainwright's been throwing all day. Nats go in order, and after 6.5, it's St. Louis leading 2-1.
Back at St. Louis Cardinals Busch Stadium, where the Cardinals take a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 6th.
Pretty
Monday
good
at the
pitching matchup
Padres.
tomorrow night. Ray, we're going to get another look at Livan Hernandez. He made a nice start at Chicago the other day. The Nats couldn't get him much run support. And for the Padres, Tim Stauffer, the Nats have seen him this year. But he's only 1-4 his last 5 starts. We'll get you going at 9:30. Johnny Holiday and Phil Wood sitting in for Ray on Nats Extra. And Garrett Mock done for the day. Tyler Clippard in the 7th. Would you call it a significant step forward in the progress of Garrett Mock today?
Yes. No question.
5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 runs on 4 hits and 6. And Clippard with that patented overhand delivery to Khalil Green. Helps to have a big first baseman. Today's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Bottom 7, Molina followed by Ryan. Yadier Molina 0 for 2 today and 0 for his last 11. But he's one of those guys you can wait for his offense. And for Clippard, 25th appearance, 2.63 ERA, 45 Ks and 19 walks. And he's throwing strikes today. Ball popped up for Elijah Dukes in right. Next up, Brendan Ryan.
You asked a question about Garrett, Bob. Looking at the score book, he was able to fire through this lineup with the only blemishes on the card. Rasmus and Pujols. Rasmus 2 balls hit hard on fastballs. Pujols a little chopper to third, and then the fastball up. Mock ends up with pitch count of 100 pitches, 62 strikes, and was really in control all day long. You know, I cannot think of a time other than the Pujols pitch that he really made a mistake, and you know, that's all a matter of what he feels strongly about. You know, I can sit up here and say, hey, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. He's out there in control. He knows what he's feeling. You know, they have a game plan, but seeing a few thousand hitters, you just know what works in a certain situation if you make the good curveball pitch. You know, I mean, he may have gotten to a point after throwing all those good breaking balls early that he wasn't comfortable with it at that point. I tend to believe that's it, because he had 6 opportunities to throw one and didn't throw one. But very solid outing today.
Hard hit to his left, Guzman, and that'll be air number 18. You brought it up earlier in this series. There's been a problem all season long, Ray, for Christian Guzman going to his left.
Well, he has had a tough time going that way. That ball to the left of the mound, just a routine play. The ball was hit hard, but a routine play for a major league shortstop. Him getting to this ball, he hasn't gotten the balls hit to his left, but you know, I personally, and I've expressed it, I don't know that he's, you know, a big league defensive caliber, top caliber shortstop anymore. There's no question that he can hit, and I have tremendous respect for that. But in order to improve the defense, shortstop has to be your best player.
It ends up not hurting
Defensively.
as McClellan flies out to center. We're on to the 8th. Guzman leads off.
Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Elijah Duke staying on a breaking ball, hitting it a little bit down on the end of his bat, but Wainwright, he got everybody else on that breaking ball. Nice job by Elijah as he drove in that tying run in the 6th inning.
And McClellan, who's done a good job for them in a setup role lately, continues to pitch here. Guzman goes up, first pitch swinging. The ball will float out of play. McClellan has 14 holds this year. The Nationals haven't had to deal with Ryan Franklin yet in this series, but that may be about to change. The all-star closer has 34 saves on the year.
Yeah, what a year he's putting together after he's been able to save in his last 10 appearances.
He's only had 2 blown saves all year.
Yeah,
and he has saved games in his last 10 appearances. So Tony La Russa only really uses him when he's saving a ball game. He's, well, you got a winning ball club. He doesn't have to sit around and wait to get work.
No.
Guzman looks bad on a breaking ball.
Only the Los Angeles Dodgers with a better record, and they're only a game better, 77-53, than the Cardinals, 76-55.
And Ray, here's a frightening number if you're playing this team. Since July 1st, in games started by Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, and Joel Pinheiro, St. Louis is 28-4.
Oh, God.
That is ridiculously good. That'll be easy for Holiday. And the Nationals just aren't getting any good swings on the ball today. Nats Extra presented by Verizon. Fios is straight ahead with Johnny Holiday and Phil Wood. There will be plenty to talk about in Garrett Mock's 6 high-quality innings today. Post-game comments from manager Jim Riggleman and a look ahead to the Padres. San Diego started this day with 56 wins, 10 more than the Nats. But the Nationals took 2 of 3 from them at Nationals Park a few weeks ago. Zimmerman 0 for 3, 2 ground balls, a called third strike. Did he go? Yes, says Tom Hallion. Man, it's a 2-1 game, and it seems like the Nats are down by 4 runs right now. Just nobody getting a good whack at it. But one swing on one mistake could change that in a hurry.
One thing that we've done today, 8 punch-outs, 5 of those called. So we've been rung up quite frequently. Getting back to the National League standings, as you mentioned the Cardinals, and the thought that I'm having, John Smoltz, 2 great starts as he's come over here from the Red Sox.
Yeah, and they were going to put him in the bullpen.
There was a lot of talk last night at Shannon's Restaurant about that. Pinheiro having a great year, also 12th in the league in earned run average, leading all of baseball in walks per 9 innings fewest. And Smoltzy's been so impressive that they're saying, hey, we can go either way. You only need 3 starters in the playoffs, and they have had a big problem in the middle part of their rotation from the 7th, 8th inning, having somebody to get people out. So either way, John Smoltz is going to figure in this pennant drive and the possibility of, hey, getting another world championship here.
Not much of a race in this division. The Dodgers have 77 wins, St. Louis 76, Philadelphia 74. Zimmerman on a breaking ball, and he is gone. 2 outs. Well, they say good pitching stops good hitting. Tony La Russa coming out. He's going to bring in Trevor Miller to face Adam Dunn.
Yeah, that's a good curveball. I mean,
that's a yacker.
They're doing some serious curveballing our ball club today, and been very successful with it.
Lefty-lefty matchup coming up with La Russa. It's all about the matchups. And here comes Trevor Miller. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. Well, how about that? The Nats got to be a piece of a little arch. That's not nearly as big as the 630-foot one that sits over by the river. And here's Trevor Miller against a big standing man himself, Adam Dunn. Situational appearance last night. These two faced each other, and Adam lined out to right. The big shift is on in the outfield as well. Adam Dunn holds that bat up like Jim Thome does. Now he's ready. That was actually a running fastball that hit the bottom of Dunn's bat.
Bob, I think this is the first time that I've seen 5 players covering maybe 34, 5% of the field. The right fielder's right there. You got 70% of the ball club playing right there in 130% area.
You know, in the NBA, you're not really supposed to play a zone. But I guess it's okay here.
How about a 2-1-2 zone, buddy?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ryan's the point guard. Pujols would be the power guy, although he's out at the top. Fastball didn't miss by much. So Trevor Miller throws Adam Dunn a couple of number ones after facing him last night. And there's Ryan Franklin just starting his work, thinking about the bottom of the ninth.
Got that Jet Clampett thing going.
And the way he's pitching, swimming pools, movie stars, mansions.
Yes, sir.
But he's kind of a simple guy from Shawnee, Oklahoma. He's not worried about that kind of stuff. Two to Dunn, and Adam gets jammed by a fastball again. Trevor Miller giving him some real different looks in this at bat. This is the progression of two guys who faced each other for 1AB last night. Josh Willingham itching to get a base hit, 0 for 8 in the series on deck. If Adam Dunn can keep it going. 2-1 ball game, top of the 8th. Way outside. Adams walked twice today, and his next walk will be number 100.
Trevor, a little bit like Vallone, 19th season in professional baseball.
3-2 pitch. He got the breaking ball over, but it was low, and Adam Dunn walks for the 3rd time today. And Tony La Russa might pop out again, although Ryan Franklin doesn't pitch in the 8th inning much.
Masson pitch track, ball just out of that deal, just barely. Ooh, the way that he's been ringing up people today. Scott Berry rung up 5. 6 including Ankiel earlier.
And La Russa's going with his best against Josh Willingham. 2 outs in the 8th inning. Another game situation. This time it's in the top of the 8th. Game summary. Colby Rasmus for St. Louis has scored both of their runs, hitting in front of Pujols, who drove in his 110th. Elijah Dukes got the Nats back even for the moment with an RBI single. 2 outs in the 6th after 2 walks. Garrett Mott, 6 very good innings. 100 pitches, 62 strikes. And here's Ryan Franklin, the St. Louis closer. 34 saves this year and a major league total of 52. He had 17 here last year. And Ray, for a lot of years, a journeyman pitcher, in and out, up and down from AAA with Seattle. Brief stops in 06 in Philadelphia and Cincinnati. And then 69 games here as a setup guy back in 07.
Yeah, 36 years young. It's seldom that you see a man ascend to this height in his career where you become so effective after not really ever being in the back part of ball games.
2 outs. Dunn's at first. Willingham 3 walks in the series, but Josh is 0 for 8. First pitch up and in, 89.
Yeah, he doesn't overpower you.
Well, we found out Friday night great hitters can be quiet for 3 at bats and then hurt you. Some great hitters can be quiet for 3 games and then hurt you. Willingham, a swing and a miss, and the count's even.
Franklin second in all the major leagues with a 1.07 earned run average, so he's doing a lot of things right.
Most saves in the National League. Houston Street of Colorado has 33. Brian Wilson of the Giants 32. Heath Bell of San Diego 31. Those are the four guys over 30. He hasn't had to pitch this weekend until now, so he's good to go for 4 outs, I'm sure. 1-2 to Willingham. They're going to jam him. And Josh somehow fought that ball off near the trademark of his bat.
And see what happens right there, though. You start looking inside for the fastball as he was rung up earlier. Then you swing at a ball 8 or 9 inches off the plate. You know, it's very difficult to tell whether that ball is right off your belt buckle or inside corner. So if you start looking for that ball in there, you'll chase pitches and get jammed.
Breaking ball drilled to left. It is carrying. It's off the wall. And Adam Dunn's going to have to stop at third. Josh Willingham missing a homer by a couple of feet. It'll be second and third, 2 outs for Elijah Dukes. Any elevation at all, and the Nats would have a lead here.
After busting with a fastball inside, he comes back with a breaking ball. Stays right in there on the downside, inside part of the plate. Hits it right off of that, short of that GoDaddy sign, right up by a former good friend of mine, Kenny Boyer.
And then Matt Holliday did a good job of keeping the ball close. When you look back on that play now, the thought crosses your mind that if the Nats had run for Adam Dunn, this game might be tied.
Well, that's a great point. And if you had Nigel Morgan over there available to run, he would have been there. Or if Willie Harris had not started and you had really good speed, but there's not really anybody in that dugout that can fly.
Gonzalez, a fast runner, but
he's an average runner.
Jim
but he's
Riggleman?
a better runner. He's a better runner than Adam, no question about it. Padilla's about an average runner. But in that situation, when you're in the 8th inning and you know that Adam Dunn is not going to come up again, it's not a bad deal to pinch run. Great thought, partner.
Here's Elijah Dukes. And Franklin misses away. Elijah today 1 for 2, hit by a pitch, a base hit, his 52nd RBI. Haven't seen each other that much, but he's taken him deep. That's a good pitch on which to take.
And he keeps that ball down. Elijah, I mean, he's starting to sell me on it. I believe that he feels real comfortable in these situations. Look how quiet he is. You know, I mentioned earlier, soft feet, fast hands. Bill Robinson, the great hitting coach, now passed a couple years ago, and for the New York Mets, we'd always talk about that front foot being very light, striding softly, creating that set for your hands to throw those hands quick through the strike zone.
And Dukes was swinging on 3-0.
And he threw him a slider.
How about that?
And he threw him a slider. That's what Dave Duncan told him when he went out there. If you get behind, don't throw the kid a fastball. He ripped the fastball to left field. The breaking ball to left field his last at bat. He'll probably stay with the slider outside park.
And Dukes will take the walk. The bases are loaded for Pete Orr.
He just was not going to give in to him there, was he?
Pete Orr today 1 for 3 with a bunt base hit. 6 for 10 in these 3 games.
That's very interesting to me. It looked to me that he was pitching around Elijah the whole at bat, and seldom do you have a right-handed pitcher pitch around a hitter
who's right-handed for a lefty.
Right-handed for a left-handed. You just don't. It doesn't happen very much. Tony La Russa prepares as well as anybody in the game, and Duncan went out there, and Pete Orr, not a tremendous amount of major league playing time, but certainly not a rookie either, and swinging the bat as well as anybody on his ball club right now.
Well, and managers know who's swinging well and who's hot. And if he could pick somebody to be up there right now, this might be the one guy he'd pick once you're by Zimmerman and Dunn. Pete Orr hits one to center. That's not going anywhere except the glove of Colby Rasmus. The Nationals strand 3. They've left 9 today in a 2-1 game. Back at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, 2-1 Cardinals. A long way to go yet. The Potomac Nationals want you to join the party for the last homestand. It begins on Tuesday. Belly Buster Wednesday. Thursday, Cheers Ladies Night, Freebie Friday, Saturday fireworks, and the kids eat free on Sundays. Come see the future stars of the Nationals as they push for the playoffs. PotomacNationals.com. Ronnie Belliard comes into the ballgame to replace Pete Orr. So the pitcher for the Nats is hitting 7th, and Belliard will be the second man up in the 9th inning, batting 9th. And an inning to hold him for Sean Burnett at the top of the order. The Nationals do have a right-hander warming up. It looks like Mike McDougall. So this could be a one-batter appearance for Burnett with Rasmus and Pujols coming up. There's the Nats closer, who hasn't had a chance to close a ball game since Thursday at Wrigley Field. Now they're going to hit Julio Lugo for Schumacher. And because Burnett's in the game, Ray, he has to stay in and face at least one batter.
Well, you could bet that Riggleman knew that. Burnett pretty good against right-handed hitters. Just want to manage as it goes, make Tony make a move using player on the bench to deplete some of those bullets that you have in case you tie the ball game up. This thing goes in extra innings. Force the manager to use players, and they can eventually may get some rewards for it.
Looks like LaRusse is going to pull out his guns here. Lugo and then Ludwig for Schumacher and Rasmus. Big, strong right-handed batter next. Three and 1 to Julio Lugo, hitting .302 in 28 games for St. Louis since coming over from Boston, where he hit .284 in just 37 games. That might be the only man Burnett faces.
Yeah, as soon as this hitter's announced with 3 right-handed hitters left.
Got to wait till the announcement on a pinch hitter.
I believe there'll be a change made. They have Thurston left, the left-handed hitter on the bench.
So they're using Lugo and Ludwig here. They've already used Mark DeRosa, who came into the game for defense. So for now, Burnett stays in.
And this is where LaRussa and Riggleman differ. LaRussa will bring you in, face the left-hander. They pinch hit. He's going to bring the right-hander in right here. Make you use your other player, Thurston, and have the right-hander to face Pujols, Holiday. You agree with that?
Well, I know that's what he would do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he likes to deplete the other dugout. It's kind of like a chess game with him. He wants to have more men than you do.
Well, and it pays off in the end. Just burn hitters. You can't just burn hitters. That's one reason I was thinking when you talked about pinch running. You need to have a player that you can put in there straight up for Adam. If not, you'll end up using 2 players. You pinch run, say Padilla.
Well, he's been replacing Dunn with Belliard for defense.
I understand that.
I don't know if Ronnie Belliard would have scored on that double.
That's what I'm saying.
But Adam Dunn had no chance.
I say if you pinch hit Padilla, pinch run Padilla, you're going to have to use Belliard to play first. So you use 2 players at one time.
Jim Riggleman might have gotten word from the bullpen that McDougall wasn't ready yet.
Right. It surprised me that he didn't make the move.
He's ready now. Bottom of the 8th inning in downtown St. Louis, Missouri. Mike McDougal, who made a living for a little while about 240 miles to the west of here in Kansas City, takes the mound for the Nats. A couple of banner years with the Royals before injury got in the way, and he's resurrected his career. That was a tough save he got on Thursday in that 5-4 win against the Cubs.
Well, he's got so much movement on his pitches, doesn't he? And
Baker the strikeout, Theriot the grounder, and the last batter was, go ahead and boo, Milton Bradley. That's what the Cub fans were doing. Nats won that series 2-1 with a 5-4 win on Thursday, and for McDougal it was his 14th save of the year.
Tony choosing to stick with Ludwig because he can't afford to burn players. And Ludwig, pretty good little hitter.
Well, yeah, they'll have to come in and play. They'll probably move Van Kiel to center, put Ludwig in right. Nobody's going anywhere for the man on deck. Pujols will bat in this inning. The leadoff man's aboard. The chess game now about to advance to another move or two in a 2-1 ball game, bottom of the 8th. McDougal just screams one to the outside corner. 96
with movement. There's not too many people that can do what he does. Throwing the fastball that hard with that much movement.
Long look at the runner. The hitter stepped out. He got time, so that's no pitch. Or should I say he was granted time by Scott Berry.
And that's one of those.
You better not step out until you get it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those directives from the dugout where you tell your pitcher to hold. That's what I mean. You come to a set and hold it to vary your delivery. Then you have a throw over. The manager does all that. We mentioned it last night. You throw over, you hold, you pitch out, you step off, or you slide step. There's 5 directives.
And McDougal throws the fastball by Ludwig. And the count's 0-2.
Look at the action on this fastball. The ball runs back about 10-12 inches. It's so hard to get to that 3-inch portion of the barrel that's solid on that baseball.
Lugo a short lead. 0-2, and it's low.
Yeah, if this kid did ever develop a breaking ball that was consistent.
Yeah, he'll throw it on occasion, but not often.
You're talking about making a lot of money.
Jams him. Broken bat. Zimmerman. Belliard. Adam Dunn picks it. 5-4-3. Well done by the Nats defense to clear the bases with Pujols coming up. 2 innings ago, our 4th drive of the game will be a 2-strike fastball raid that was too reachable for Albert Pujols.
Yeah, 3-2, set him up for the breaking ball, had him in that shot, threw him the fastball, let her high. Not a lot of people get on top of that ball, but Prince Albert does.
Pujols today an infield hit. Before that, he has RBI number 110.
Those numbers, look at those numbers.
And it's not even the end of August. Well, you know what he's thinking. 2 outs, bases empty against a power pitcher.
But he never looks like he overswings. He's always on balance. You know, one of those guys that doesn't have to do anything extra. Most hitters have to get it started and cheat by getting their hands started early to catch up with that kind of fastball. He doesn't. He just stays the same. Little bit of front leg movement in, hands, just a little hand action. His bat barrel. He gets through the strike zone lightning fast.
9th year in the league, 360 home runs on the dot. So he's averaging exactly.
It's about 40, isn't it?
Well, averaging 30 a year right now with a month to go. That's 40, pardon me. That is some set of numbers. 2-1 and a fastball away.
See, he is so quiet.
And see, there was a time earlier in the season, Ray, when a ball club wouldn't even mess with him here. They'd go ahead and walk him. But now that Matt Holliday's here, they say pick your poison.
Yeah, I don't walk anybody when I'm losing by a run. You know, if you're up a run, I would consider that. But no, I go get him. Hey, he's the best in the league. But when you're down, you just got to pitch your best stuff against him. But you're right. There's, you know, he's getting to the status that Barry Bonds had, where you just don't want to fool with him. You just don't want to deal with it. Barry Bonds intentionally walked how many times? The 1 year, 80 something.
It's crazy. 3-2 here.
Had a long discussion with Jim Rugelman on Friday about that as Pujols led off that 9th inning, hitting a hanging breaking ball from Bergman. He and I were discussing, do you walk a guy in that situation? And the thing about walking Bonds is that he could steal bases.
Pujols high in the air to right center, but playable for Elijah Dukes. And Mike McDougal will come on and get 3 outs. He keeps it close. Scheduled for the Nats, Bard, then Belliard and Harris. Final game of the series. St. Louis going for a sweep. They're 3 outs away. The Nats trying to battle back even or go ahead as we go top 9. Bard will lead off. Ryan Ludwig stays into play right field, his natural position. Rick Ankiel from right to center. And then Julio Lugo, who hit for Schumacher, second base. Closer Ryan Franklin still in the game. The Nats don't really have another left-handed bat. Josh Bard for the moment stays in. They're going to play him in a deep pull position with Lugo in right field, just about where he would be for Adam Dunn. And the shortstop, Brendan Ryan, pretty much staying home at shortstop.
They're probably going to move him in a little bit because if you, golly, you could drag the ball right by the pitcher and you can walk over there.
Breaking ball for a strike from Franklin. St. Louis trying to win their 3rd straight in their 77th game of the year. The Dodgers just took the lead at Cincinnati in the 12th. They have 77 wins. Bard pops it up left field side. Shortstop has the angle, but the third baseman took it because it wasn't in the air that long. Mark DeRosa, 1 out.
You know, Bobby, going back to Friday night, these ball games have all been close. Last night, the 9-4 victory by the Cardinals, but it's gone back to not executing. Jim Rugelman talks about details. The home run to Khalil Green, dead fastball hitter, 3-1 on a fastball right there. And then the Pujols home run on a breaking ball that hung. Then the error by Guzman that opened the floodgates for 4 runs in that inning. Cardinals making the defensive play at second base, knocking the ball down, making a play. And then Rasmus getting to third base on the bunt today, or on the swinging bunt, which ends up translating to a big run in that 4th inning. So the little things always make a difference, and winning clubs tend to do them.
Working ahead, Ryan Franklin.
But it is really encouraging that the Nationals are able to play these clubs. Mike Rizzo, general manager, no longer the interim. And we're all happy about that. But the Nationals are beginning to play really solid baseball against clubs that are contending. And you're looking at a possible World Series champion right here with their pitching and the offense, the way they're playing defense, and come in here and you're certainly not embarrassed. You may go home losing 3 ball games, but it's the ability to play with these guys and the execution that comes with experience and time and maybe adding another player or two.
$41,083 paid today, coming to their feet. And right here at the 4 o'clock hour in the Midwest, St. Louis trying to close out the series with a sweep, leading 2-1. Willie Harris, the last chance for the Nats. I'm pretty sure the only person they boo in this town is the umpire. They never boo their players. They thought they had a strike. It was a little bit low, and Willie takes one, ball 2. Mets beat the Cubs 4-1. St. Louis is 1 out away from a 10-game lead in their division. Marlins held on to beat the Padres 6-4. And Harris hits one to short center. St. Louis pitching does it again. Two hours and 47 minutes. Cardinals beat the Nats 2-1. It's on to San Diego. More from St. Louis in a moment. Nationals stranded 22 men on base in these 3 games, and they get swept by the Cardinals. Final score today, 2-1. Hope you can join us Monday. Masson 2, Nats at San Diego. Nats Extra 9:30. Visit MassonSports.com for all the latest news on your Nationals. This has been a presentation of Masson. Stay tuned. Nats Extra, Johnny and Phil coming up right now. And from the booth in St. Louis, so long for just a while.